gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head down, find what you love and excel, yeah. Push and pull.
Huawei Pura X Max Collector's Edition unboxing. And trust me, this one's different. Today we're checking out Huawei's latest large foldable to see how it really looks and whether it's actually better than the earlier Pura X models. Big thanks to my tech partner over in China for providing this footage. I really appreciate the support in making this video happen. Hey everyone, Stella here from techiestreet. If you're into staying updated with the newest gadgets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest tech content. Let's start with the box. It's square, finished in gold, instantly feels premium. There's a small pull tab on the side. Slide it open and boom, the Pura X Max Collector's Edition greets you. This unit packs 16 gigabytes RAM and 1 terabyte storage. The color? Starry Blue, Huawei's signature for this version. Now, taking it out, here it is. The Starry Blue isn't just blue, it leans slightly purple. Subtle but striking, and that checkered pattern on the back adds a really unique texture. This time, Huawei offers 5 colors. Vibrant orange, zero white, and starry blue come with glass backs. Midnight black and olive gold go for a frosted finish. The glossy ones grab attention. The matte ones feel more refined. Honestly, in hand, the matte finish feels more premium, super smooth and high-end. Look closer at the design. The back is split into sections. The lower parts have horizontal textures, while the adjacent ones run vertical. Then the camera module, fully glossy, stands out with strong contrast. Compared to the older Pura X, the layout is similar, but that one used a leather-like finish. The older design also mixed textures below, while the top stayed flat. Now the camera module, same horizontal racetrack layout, but now inside a circular ring. Inside, you get 4 cameras. On the left, a 50-megapixel main sensor with variable aperture. Above the center, a 12.5-megapixel ultra-wide. Below that, Huawei's second-gen Hongfeng color camera. On the right, a 50-megapixel telephoto with macro support. And between them, dual-tone flash, one warm, one cool for better lighting. But here's the interesting part, the lens ring. The lower section has this raised, almost volcano-like glass design. The upper ring around the X-Mage logo is ceramic, and not just any ceramic, blue ceramic. That's extremely hard to make. Matching it with the glass back, even harder. That's what makes this version rare. In person, it looks insanely premium. All right, let's fold it. This is how it looks closed. Quick question. Rate this Starry Blue from 1 to 5 based on looks. What would you give it? Now the form factor. Earlier, people guessed a 14 to 10 ratio, but it's actually square root of 2 to 1, around 1.414 to 1. Sounds weird, right? But there's a reason. It's based on A4 paper proportions. Here's the cool part. This ratio stays the same even when folded. Basic math, halve one side, ratio stays intact, just like folding A4 paper. Huawei uses that idea here, so both outer and inner screens feel almost identical. Content doesn't need adjusting, it just scales. That's a big deal. This could actually be the future of foldables. Another upgrade, thickness. This thing is much slimmer, about 1/3 thinner than the previous model. The older one was around 7 millimeters unfolded. This drops to about 5 millimeters, and it's bigger overall. That's impressive. Huawei also switched to a flat, right-angled frame. No more curves. Combined with the glossy finish, it looks sharper and thinner, and in hand, feels great. Around the sides, things are familiar. There's a centered punch-hole camera on the outer screen. On the side frame, you get volume buttons and a power button with a fingerprint sensor. Now the speakers. This is interesting. There are speakers on both the top and bottom. Use it normally, you get stereo. Rotate it, still stereo. Unfold it, and they shift positions to keep balanced sound. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but Huawei tunes it well, so it still sounds consistent. At the bottom, next to the USB-C port, you'll find the SIM slot. It supports dual SIM accessible from both sides. And on the inner display, there's a punch-hole camera in the upper right corner. And that's your first look at the Huawei Pura X Max Collector's Edition. All right, let's power it on. While it boots, quick look at what's inside the box. You might be surprised. Lift the top layer and you get two smaller boxes. Starting left, SIM ejector tool. Open it and there's a tiny 66W supercharge adapter, seriously compact for this speed. Under that, a USB-C to USB-C cable. Now the right box. Inside, documentation, quick start guide, and foldable instructions, plus a transparent case. It's a hard case with a slight frosted texture, not fully clear. It only covers the lower half. Snap it on, and honestly, it looks clean and sleek. All right, the phone's on. Welcome screen. First thing, you'll notice the aspect ratio. It feels different. Let's set it up. Choose Simplified Chinese, Continue, and here you can insert a SIM or scan a QR for eSIM. Now here's where it gets interesting. The SIM setup is super flexible. Dual SIM slot supports 2 physical SIMs plus eSIM, so you can run 2 physical or 1 physical plus 1 eSIM, or even 2 eSIMs, all in dual standby. That's seriously versatile. Setup done. Welcome to Harmony OS. This unit runs Harmony OS 6.1, and right away it asks for an update to 6.1.0.117 SP90. Now check this out. The bottom navigation bar, it has a frosted glass effect. It reflects what's behind it in real time. Colors shift instantly: purple, white, yellow, blue. And since it floats, it doesn't block content underneath. That makes the screen feel more open, especially with this wider layout, way less cramped than before. Unfold it, and boom, a 7.7-inch display. Feels like a mini tablet. Browsing apps, everything looks bigger, more immersive. Let's talk displays. Inner screen, 7.7-inch flexible OLED, 1828 by 2584, 412 ppi. Peak brightness, 3000 nits. Refresh rate, 1 to 120 Hz. Outer screen, 5.4-inch OLED, 1264 by 1848, same 412 ppi. But here's the twist, it's even brighter, up to 3500 nits, with the same adaptive refresh rate. Now compare this to the older Pura X. That one had a smaller foldable design, with the camera sitting near the screen. Result? A more square front display. Not ideal for daily use. Typing, browsing, it felt limited. But the Pura X Max fixes that. The outer screen is now full and uninterrupted. Slightly wider ratio, but it works like a normal smartphone. Much easier to use. On the old Pura X, the 1-to-1 ratio caused problems. The keyboard would take over half the screen. You could barely see what you were typing. Conversations felt cramped. Here, the keyboard uses much less space, about 1/3 to half. You can actually see your content. Big difference. Interestingly, unfolded Pura X and folded Pura X Max feel somewhat similar in proportions. But Pura X uses 16 by 10, while this is closer to 14 by 10. Slightly taller, better for content. In fact, the outer screen here feels almost like the inner screen of the older model. Unfold the Pura X Max and it gets even better. More vertical space, more immersive. The 16 by 10 now feels narrower in comparison. Now, real-world use. Start with vertical video, like scrolling TikTok. On the outer screen, it fills nicely with slight cropping. Other foldables behave differently. Some add black bars depending on their shape. Unfold it in portrait, and the screen gets noticeably bigger than others. Even compared to devices like the Huawei Mate X7, this root 2-to-1 ratio really shines. Content looks larger, viewing area feels huge. Switch to landscape, watching movies or shows. Here, traditional widescreens like the Huawei Mate 80 Pro Max may look bigger at first. The Pura X Max shows black bars top and bottom, so content seems smaller initially. But unfold it and everything changes. The screen becomes massive, bigger overall viewing area than most. Even side by side with the X7, this one still comes out ahead. Next, let's test another scenario, scrolling comics like in BBBB Comics. This is where things get really interesting. All right, let's keep going. This next comparison might surprise you. In the folded state, using the outer screen, compare it to the inner screen of the Pura X. And interestingly, the Pura X still looks slightly bigger. In fact, here it even appears larger than this one, and even the Mate. The Huawei Mate X7 especially feels taller. You see more vertically, giving a longer viewing window. That's how it looks in this mode. Now, unfold the Pura X Max and everything changes. The advantage becomes obvious. The screen is much bigger. Unfold the X7 too, side by side, and the Max still wins in size. Yes, the X7 can zoom in more, and at equal scaling, it may look larger due to its squarer shape, but you lose content at the top. That's the trade-off. Next, let's switch to reading, like going through a novel on the go. We set all devices to the smallest font and tightest spacing for fairness. Normally, text is bigger, but under these settings, the unfolded Pura X Max clearly gives the best reading experience. More content on screen, still easy to read. On the outer screen, though, it's smaller, so text looks tighter. But unfold it, and boom, it shows the most content instantly. You scroll less, see more. Even compared to the X7, which already fits a lot, the Max still shows more. It can even reach the end of a page with space left. That's how much fits. So across real-world use, reading, comics, videos in portrait or landscape, the unfolded Pura X Max stands out. That √2:1 ratio really pays off. It's not just theory, you feel it. Curious, does this ratio work for you? That said, the outer screen is still quite large for daily use. For quick tasks, it works just fine. Now let's talk accessories. Huawei also launched the M Pen Mini. This is the bundle with the special case, and the design is clever. On the hinge side, there's a slot. Slide the pen in, it snaps magnetically. Once attached, both the pen and case charge wirelessly. Here's the cool part, no visible connectors. So how does it charge? The phone sends reverse wireless power to the case, and the case charges the pen. Smart setup. There's also a small groove on the case, likely for a mic. Attach the case, and you instantly get a pop-up for the M Pen Mini. Tap, and it connects right away. Using it feels smooth. Swipe around, hover over icons, they slightly enlarge for feedback. The Pura X Max also includes the Born to Draw app. Open it unfolded, and it's a full tablet experience, nothing cut down. You can draw, adjust brush size, tweak transparency, everything works like a proper tablet. The stylus also has buttons like the M Pen 3. Double-click, and it switches to Air Mouse mode. Move the pen, control a pointer. Pretty cool. Charging is easy. Snap it into place, it charges wirelessly. You'll see a small white light while charging. Nice touch. The case also shifts slightly when opening and closing, but always snaps back perfectly. One thing, adding the pen case makes the phone wider. That can help with grip, but also adds bulk. If you prefer, you can buy the stylus separately. Since there's no wired port, Huawei offers a wireless charger for it. It also works with other Huawei styluses. The pen can even attach magnetically to the side of a Huawei tablet, snaps near the hinge, and stays secure. Now, the phone itself, 5300 mAh battery, supports 60-watt wired, 50-watt wireless, and reverse wireless charging. It's rated IP58 and IP59 with water resistance up to 3 meters. Huawei also added new colors. We have the checkered purple, and there's also orange. The purple one really stands out. It shifts between deep purple, lighter tones, even white at the top. Looks layered and unique. What do you think? Rate it from 1 to 5. Pricing starts at 12,999 yuan in China, around 1,412 pounds or $1,905. And that's it for this unboxing of the Huawei Pura X Max Collector's Edition. Next video, we go deeper into the software and see how Harmony OS is optimized for this foldable. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!